Hello fellow writers, welcome back to the channel. In this one we're going to be looking at my week 3 progress, as well as what I'm planning to do for week 4 roughly, as well as give you some tips to hopefully kind of egg you on that final push in week 4 of NaNoWriMo 2020. NaNoWriMo. For week 3 I actually managed to get through roughly the same amount of words that I'd done in my previous 2 weeks. I think it was just under 17,000 words. This means my current total for NaNoWriMo this year over several projects, mind you, is 48,000 words. And I'm pretty much close to have succeeded in NaNoWriMo this year. However, if you remember at the beginning of all of this, in the beginning of October actually, when I released a video on some writing tips, pretty much I set myself a goal of 65,000 words. Does it look like I'm going to achieve this goal? I'm not sure, but if I continue in week 4 so far, with the similar kind of word count that I've done in the previous few weeks, I should be able to hit in between 63 to 64,000 words roughly, which is pretty much close to my original goal. However, I've had a lot on my plate this week with client work as well as some writing for Dungeons & Dragons, which I'm excited about. And this is why this week 3 update is released on Wednesday rather than Monday that I originally planned. It has been a bit of a slog, but I'm here to try and give you some advice and tips to help you succeed in your writing goals. So yeah, let's look at some tips to keep you motivated and to help you on that final push for NaNoWriMo 2020. Tip number 1, don't dig yourself into a writing hole. Something I fell prey to in week 3 as well as in week 4 so far is kind of constantly writing something and I'm digging myself a hole, and I'm trying to make it work to continue getting the word count down. Don't do this, as it can definitely affect your motivation for writing. Instead, scrap whatever you're not happy about. But this doesn't mean to edit it or to get rid of it completely. What I mean is just simply cut it out of your document and paste it into another document, an ideas document for later. Focus on writing a new section or character or whatever it is that you're unhappy about with your writing, or simply just write a filler, an oversimplified version of what you wanted to write originally, so you can just continue writing and getting towards the end. An example for this: man working at the bar overhears them, intervenes in some way. Fight breaks out, forcing the protagonist to leave quickly and accidentally leaving behind an important item they need later. It is oversimplified, but it's a great way to get an idea out of your head and onto the page, so you can just focus on writing. And you can come back in December and start rewriting and editing anyway. Tip number 2, forget about the beginning. At this stage in NaNoWriMo, a lot of writers tend to kind of look back where they've come from. You know, you'll know your journey of your protagonist and the characters so far, and how they've been challenged so far, and how they might have even changed because of that journey. But try not to reread and go back to the beginning. A lot of writers will drift back towards the beginning to see where they've come from and read what they've written so far. This is a mistake, as you can kind of get the beginning lodged into your head again, and it could even take you out of the mood for writing the current scene that you're in. Just like if you read a Harry Potter book at the beginning or one of the first books in the series and then read one later in the series. If you go back and forth between those points, it can make it very dissatisfying, or it can lower the motivation for continuing to read, especially if you're flip-flopping about the place. Actually, that's a great technique for writers to kind of understand pacing and development. Instead, only reread your latest, most current plot points, scenes, and moments in your narrative. And then do some musing. A lot of my best thinking comes from 2 AM in the morning. I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and I'm just constantly thinking about all of these different scenes in my head. It's great for writing, but not great for sleep. Tip number 3, stop your writing sprints when you know what's coming next. In the beginning, especially in the first 2 weeks of NaNoWriMo, or whatever challenge it is that you're doing, it can be very easy to get caught up in that moment and you're just so focused and motivated to keep writing. But as the weeks go on, you'll become more and more frustrated with your energy and your motivation to write. A great way to combat this is to end your writing sessions, your writing sprints, when you have a really good understanding of where the story is going next, or you already have it in your head on what you want to write next. End early and make a note of where you're going. What will happen is you'll go away for a walk, you'll go to the gym, ride the dog, walk the dog, go to work, whatever the range of activities is that you like to do. You'll ponder on it and you'll genuinely be excited about what you're going to write next. You'll already be familiar on what you want to do, and that'll make the next writing session a lot easier to get into. And that can be very motivating, especially if you're passionate. And that'll allow you to tackle the next one from a place of positivity and passion. So finish early when you know what's coming next. Make notes and keep thinking about your story. Tip number 4, try and silence that internal editor. Continue to do no editing in week 4. Apart from the cutting and pasting and ideas document idea that I mentioned earlier. Editing will get in the way and will definitely cut down on your productivity. Tip number 5, disconnect. I don't mean completely turn off the internet and electricity to your house. That's a bit silly, especially if you need it for research. But what I mean is, during your writing sessions, just turn off the Wi-Fi to your laptop. Turn off the Bluetooth. Turn off your browser if you can. Silence all the apps on your phone for social media. Cut down on potential distractions, because they will definitely start creeping up. They've been there all along, but especially in week 3 and now week 4, they're going to start being a lot more noticeable as your motivation and energy starts to wander. Just remember, you're doing an amazing thing and you deserve to get that achievement. So, to summarize, don't stick to things that you don't like. Simplify and make notes. Don't reread the beginning. End your sessions when you know what will happen next. Silence that internal editor. Disconnect during your writing sprints. I hope these tips have given you a bit of motivation and they've helped just kind of refresh some things, especially in your final push in NaNoWriMo 2020. I believe that you can really achieve the goals that you've set out, whether that's 50,000 words or even 5,000. It's amazing what you're doing. You will have completed a project, you've grown as a writer, and you've finished something that you can share with people. So please share this video with other writers who you think might just need a little bit of a push during this final week 4 of NaNoWriMo. Also, please like this video because it does help the channel out a metric ton in terms of YouTube's eternal algorithm. And please subscribe so you don't miss out on any future writing tips, storytelling concepts, and visual essays on the art of telling great stories. Thanks for watching, good luck with your writing this week, and I'll see you in the next one.